Welcome to the Ebbs of History, the show where we dive into the strangest, wildest, and sometimes downright creepiest stories the past has to offer. From dancing plagues to pirate queens, you'll laugh, you'll gasp, you'll even groan at my impeccable dad jokes. But, most importantly, you'll learn how history is way cooler than your textbook ever told you.
We're your history-loving hosts, Zoe,
Gavin,
And I'm Jason. And in every episode, the three of us will take a quick trip through time and see what lessons we can still learn today. This is the Ebbs of History. Hey there, history lovers. Welcome back to another episode of Ebbs of History. We're so glad you're here with us today. Zoe, Gavin, how was your week?
good.
it was pretty good.
Almost the end of school, so that's nice.
Yes.
It's been looming for the past weeks, and it's finally so close. It's a week and a half left, and I just get it done with, please.
Zoe?
I had a really fun field trip this week, so that was kind of the highlight of my week.
Yeah, for sure.
I got some new shoes. Those are really nice.
Yes, with your own money. That was good.
Yeah, finally used my Easter money.
Yeah. All right, picture this. It's 1812. The United States has just declared war on Britain, confident enough that Thomas Jefferson called taking Canada a mere matter of marching. Many Americans assumed Canadians would welcome them. The campaign would take weeks, and Canada would be theirs by Christmas. Instead, the invasion collapsed into a spectacular comedy of blunders. Today we're asking, what happens when supreme confidence meets unprepared armies, reluctant militia, and Canadians who have zero interest in being, quote-unquote, liberated? By 1812, the United States had been independent for less than 30 years. The country was still finding its footing, still figuring out what it meant to be a nation. Meanwhile, Britain was locked in a brutal war with Napoleon's France. They had bigger problems than their former colonies across the Atlantic. But the Americans had grievances. The British Navy was stopping American ships, impressing American sailors into service, essentially kidnapping them and forcing them to work on British vessels.
You know, when I think about it, I feel like Napoleon to me is a lot earlier in history.
No, it's this time.
It's in the 1800s.
Uh-huh.
That might sound like a long time ago, but in the grand scheme of history, it's a really short time ago.
Yeah, it is. Well, he came to power around 1789.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And this is 1812, so this is...
If you think about it, it's after the French Revolution, after
Yeah.
the Reign of Terror,
Mm-hmm.
after all that, Napoleon seizes power.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. British forces were also supporting indigenous nations in the Northwest Territory who were resisting American expansion. To many Americans, especially those on the frontier, the solution seemed obvious. Invade Canada, kick the British out of North America entirely, and solve all these problems in one swift campaign. Do you know what war hawks are? Have you ever heard that term before?
I know it's not a hawk that just
Likes war.
yeah.
is it like a spy?
It is not. These were politicians, mostly from the South and the West, who were absolutely itching for war. Led by figures like Henry Clay and John C. Calhoun, they convinced Congress that this was America's moment. They painted visions of easy victory and territorial expansion. Canada, they claimed, was ripe for the taking. So on June 18th, 1812, President James Madison signed the Declaration of War. The plan was simple. Launch a three-pronged invasion of Canada. One army would attack from Detroit in the west. Another would cross the Niagara River in the center. And a third would march north from New York toward Montreal. With three simultaneous invasions, surely at least one would succeed, right?
Nope.
Spoiler. Well, let's start with a disaster at Detroit in the west. The American force was led by General William Hull, a 59-year-old Revolutionary War veteran who, to put it kindly, was well past his prime. Hull was cautious to the point of paralysis, and he had good reason to be nervous. His army consisted of about 2,000 men, but many were militia who didn't want to be there. On July 12th, Hull crossed into Canada and occupied the town of Sandwich, which is now part of Windsor, Ontario. But then, Hull heard that Fort Mackinac, a strategic post to the north, had fallen to the British. He panicked. What if the British and their indigenous allies cut off his supply lines? What if he was trapped in enemy territory? Without even attempting to attack the main British position at Fort Malden, Hull retreated back across the Detroit River to Fort Detroit. Now, on the British side, we have one of the war's most remarkable figures, Major General Isaac Brock. Can you guess what made Brock such an effective commander?
He didn't retreat.
Okay.
His name is so cool. That sounds like a war name.
He's got a cool name. First criteria for being an awesome general. He was bold and decisive and brilliant at psychological warfare. When he learned about Hull's retreat, he saw an opportunity. Brock had fewer than 1,500 troops at his disposal, including British regulars, Canadian militia, and about 600 indigenous warriors, led by the legendary Shawnee chief Tecumseh. By any objective measure, he was outnumbered. But Brock understood something crucial. Hull was terrified of an indigenous attack on the fort and the civilians inside. So Brock played on those fears. He dressed his militia in spare British uniforms to make his force look larger. He marched his troops in circles through clearings to create the illusion of vast numbers. He sent Hull a letter demanding surrender and warning that once fighting began, he might not be able to control his indigenous allies. A thinly veiled threat of massacre. The bluff worked. On August 16, 1812, without firing a single shot in defense of the fort, General William Hull surrendered Detroit to the British. An entire American army, more than 2,000 soldiers, became prisoners of war. Hull handed over the fort, 33 cannons, thousands of muskets, and the entire Michigan territory. Can you take a guess at how Americans back east reacted to this news?
Not so good.
Not so good, yeah.
Really.
They were absolutely stunned and outraged. How could a general surrender without a fight? Hull was court-martialed, found guilty of cowardice and neglect of duty, and sentenced to death, though President Madison eventually pardoned him due to his Revolutionary War service. But
Wait, so did he die?
he did not.
Oh.
No, he was pardoned because of his service in the Revolutionary War. But that's still, that's a mark on his legend, his name, for the rest of his life and for his family's life. And here we are today talking about
His
it.
legacy.
His legacy.
What
is a legacy?
Don't get me started.
But the disasters weren't over. Let's move to the center prong of this invasion along the Niagara River. This campaign was led by Major General Stephen Van Rensselaer, a wealthy New York militia general who, it must be said, had more political connections than military experience.
Can you say that name again?
Mm-hmm. Major General Stephen Van Rensselaer.
Is he the very pattern of a modern major general? Van Rensselaer?
Rensselaer. On October 13th, 1812, Van Rensselaer launched an assault across the Niagara River at Queenston. Under cover of darkness, about 600 American troops crossed in boats and scrambled up the heights overlooking the town. The attack caught the British by surprise, and the Americans managed to capture a key artillery position. General Isaac Brock, the man with the cool name, also the same man who had won Detroit, rushed to the scene. In a moment of reckless bravery, Brock personally led a charge up the heights to retake the position. But as he climbed, a Kentucky sharpshooter's bullet struck him in the chest. Brock died almost instantly, becoming a martyr and a hero in Canadian history. Do you think that maybe his taking of Detroit without a shot being fired had anything to do with the way he reacted and what he did when he came to Niagara?
Oh, 1,000%. Because he was just like, oh, they're too cowardice. I got this in the bag. And even if they do fight back, we're better anyway because we're the British. Because if you think about it at this time, the British always had this mindset of, oh, we are better.
Yes.
We are the best nation ever. Like, I don't know, at least in Lord of the Flies it was prevalent because it's like, oh, we're the British. We can do anything.
And when
It's
was
like,
that set?
After World War II.
There you go.
like especially in that era, because it was the second
And this
wave
is
of
150 years
imperialism.
before that.
Because it was the second wave of imperialism, and right now the British, they had their first wave in the New World with America. So their ego is pretty high up there right now.
Yeah, like I feel like with all their colonization through history, like it's only natural to have a huge ego, you know?
Yeah.
When you just won an entire territory of the United States without firing a shot, like, your confidence is way high.
Yeah.
So, we're back. He's been shot. He was killed by a sniper. So, for a moment, it seemed like the Americans might actually win this one. They held the high ground, but then everything fell apart. British reinforcements arrived under Major General Roger Sheaffe. S-H-E-A-F-F-E. S-H-A-E-F-F-E.
I don't care about spelling. I'm just kind of doing something that
Yeah, I know, really. Along with the indigenous warriors led by Mohawk leader John Norton, they counterattacked and pushed the Americans back. Meanwhile, on the American side of the river, Van Rensselaer had a major problem. His militia were refusing to cross. Now, why do you think they refused?
Because they didn't want to be there.
Okay.
Is it the same army as the other one? Maybe they learned from their leader and was like, I'm scared.
Well, it's not the army. It's the militia. It's different.
Oh.
What? Define militia.
So militias, they form by state. And the army is a federal thing.
Awesome.
Under the militia laws of the time, soldiers could not be compelled to fight outside American territory. Hundreds of New York militiamen simply stood on the riverfront, watching their comrades get slaughtered across the water and refused to board the boats. The Americans on the Canadian side were trapped. By afternoon, they had no choice but to surrender. About 900 American soldiers became prisoners of war, including a young officer named Winfield Scott, who would go on to become one of America's greatest generals, but on this day was thoroughly humiliated.
They went 0 for 3.
Well, that's 0 for 2 so far.
Oh, well, like, we know what's going to happen.
So, that's 2 of the invasion attempts. 2 catastrophic failures. But what about the third? Now we're moving on to
Montreal.
That's right.
Okay.
These sound like Ticket to Ride routes. New York to Montreal.
Absolutely.
Oh, they should
It's
make a
not a
Canada
coincidence.
version.
Oh,
They should make a Canada version of Ticket to Ride.
there probably
It's
is.
there. But they
Well, the thing is with that is that there's not much
To do.
north of, like, the first 100 miles
Yeah.
of Canada. It's just all
Wilderness.
land and wilderness, yeah.
but, like,
There's no train lines going out there,
you could
usually.
have, like, national... No, wait, no. They don't have national...
There's company
parks.
lines for, like, the De Beers Diamond people. I'm sure they have company lines. So maybe we can... Maybe they could do something like that.
Who is we?
I know, right? I created the game, Ticket to Ride.
You know what
Yeah,
would
I
also be
guess
cool?
so.
Just, like, an Africa... not Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Alaska.
Oh, no, Africa. 1,000%.
It's kind of the same problem in
in Alaska.
Or,
in
like,
Africa.
Hawaii. It's not
Okay.
ticket to ride. It's boat to ride.
All right,
Okay.
moving on.
No, it's ticket to boat.
Okay.
The planned invasion toward Montreal never really got off the ground. General Henry Dearborn led an army north from Plattsburgh, New York, in November of 1812. But when his militia also refused to cross the border, he turned around and marched back. The entire campaign fizzled out before it even began.
Oh my god.
So
Got fired?
no, because they retreated. They didn't even retreat. They just turned around.
It's like, no,
There was
I'm
never-
good, and just left.
There was never any engagement. They never actually even went into Canada.
Oh my god.
They just stayed in New York.
It's like, well.
By the end of 1812, all 3 invasions had failed. Canada remained firmly in British hands. American confidence had been shattered. Now, the Americans did have some successes later in the war. In 1813, they won a crucial naval victory at the Battle of Lake Erie. Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry, commanding a hastily built fleet, defeated the British squadron in a dramatic battle. Perry sent his famous message, "We have met the enemy, and they are ours." Control of Lake Erie forced the British to abandon Detroit and retreat eastward. Also in 1813, American forces captured and burned York, which is now Toronto. They destroyed the government buildings there, an act that would have consequences later when the British retaliated by burning Washington, D.C. in 1814. But despite these victories, the Americans never came close to conquering Canada. The war dragged on until December 1814, when both sides signed the Treaty of... Anybody know?
Paris?
No.
Wrong
Good
one.
guess, though. Because if it's not...
Half of the treaties signed in history are either Versailles or Paris.
Exactly.
Like,
it is not either of those. I don't expect you guys to know this. Next year I do, though.
yeah, next year we're both taking U.S.
That's exactly right. It was the Treaty of Ghent.
Oh,
G-H-E-N-T. The Treaty of Ghent. The treaty essentially reset everything to how it was before the war. No territory had changed hands. None of America's original grievances were even mentioned in the treaty. Both sides just agreed to stop fighting and go home. So, what do you think about the War of 1812? Just learning what you just learned.
An incredible fumble by the USA.
Well, that's the invasion of Canada. I'm talking about the whole war.
itself.
With that treaty, what I just said about the treaty, what do you think about the War of 1812?
No one really took it that seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing was resolved at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was a pointless war.
It was pointless. It was just spending money.
Nothing changed at all from day one of the war to the last day.
And it hurt the countries involved because they were spending so much money on armies and stuff,
Yes.
and that set them back economically. That had ramifications later on in history. You can at least see it in Europe, like with Napoleon. He started taxing people. If I remember correctly, he started to tax people because he was just getting into all these wars, like, and that led to the Council of Trent, and that led to whatever because his power is too much.
That's right.
When was the Renaissance? Like, when that happened? Like, what
Way
year?
earlier,
Like, what, 1400?
1450s.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because we just finished learning about that in history class, but I never really learned, like, when. I never really paid attention
It's
to that.
the start of the EHAP course, so
Yeah.
it's like that's where we
It's the
start.
end of where I like to study, which is medieval, and the beginning of where EHAP starts.
It starts at the Renaissance.
Historiography. The War of 1812 is remembered very differently depending on where you live. In the United States, it's often called the Second War of Independence, or the Forgotten War. Many Americans barely remember it happened, though it did give us the Star-Spangled Banner and made Andrew Jackson a national hero after the Battle of New Orleans. Why did you just sigh?
Because it's Andrew Jackson.
Exactly. In Canada, the war is remembered as a defining moment of national identity. The successful defense against American invasion became a source of pride and helped forge a sense of Canadian unity among the diverse British colonies. Isaac Brock is still honored as a national hero, and Tecumseh is remembered for his crucial alliance with the British and Canadians. Historians have debated for 2 centuries about why the invasions failed so spectacularly. Some point to poor American military leadership and lack of preparation. Others emphasize the effectiveness of British commanders like Brock and the crucial role of indigenous allies. Still, others focus on the fundamental problem of militia reluctance and the political divisions within the United States about whether the war was even necessary. What's clear is that the American confidence in 1812 was completely unjustified, and the price of that overconfidence was paid in lives and humiliation. Of that last thing that I just read, about the historians debating why they failed so spectacularly, what do you guys think? What do you... Of those things that I just said, what do you think was number one? The number one reason?
Sounds like an LEQ right now.
Like, lack of preparedness.
Okay.
Because, like, if you're not prepared, you're not going to win.
I
Like,
think-
you got to have strategy and all that stuff.
I think it's just lack of wanting to even be there. Because I don't know, out of the 2 out of the 3 were just because they didn't want to cross the border.
Yeah.
Like, it just sounded like
militia.
the militia just didn't want to be there. Like, the citizens didn't want to be fighting the war either. Like, it was just the land, and I guess that just shows that if the people don't want something and the people are doing it, then nothing's going to get done even then.
I agree. Yeah. I also think that they did not think through to marry the 2 things that you both just said about preparedness and the militia. They didn't prepare enough for the militia to not be able to cross an international border.
Yeah.
That is huge.
They should have at least changed that a little bit before
Well,
they invaded Canada.
yeah,
A national border.
it seems like they didn't even think about that.
They're like,
because
oh.
they got to the border with these people and they just said, nope, not going, sorry. Like, we're protecting our state.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We're the militia of New York or the militia of Michigan, and that's it.
Yeah.
We're not crossing over. We're not crossing over into a different country for you.
Yeah.
We're fighting for New York. What?
Michigan.
Militiagan. That's a good one.
You just slid that in there.
Yeah. Lessons we've learned today. So, what can we learn from this historical fiasco?
Always be prepared for anything.
True.
I don't know. The first thing when you told us about America going in, wanting to invade Canada and take over Canada, all I thought of was now in the beginning of the current administration wanting Canada, that's the first thing I thought of.
Oh, Greenland?
Yeah, wanting Greenland and wanting...
that's Denmark, not Canada.
Wanting that area. No, just like wanting, like talks of it's just becoming a big thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's so much that has happened, I completely forgot about that
Yeah,
one.
that happened too. That's the first thing I thought of, and it, like, failing and just, like, no one wanting it. And it was, I don't know, it kind of is like... But this time, nowadays, nothing actually happened, nothing sent in. But I think if something did happen, it would have been like this, where people would have just gone like, I'm not going there.
I like the parallel. I do. But today is different.
Yeah.
Today, it's all just bluster for the TV.
Today's talk.
Not just today's talk, but like in our globalized world. Mm-hmm. It's all about that soundbite at night, or... You know, hey, I'm doing this, and I'm cool, and blah, 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 blah. And then it's like a week later, just like I forgot about that.
You forgot about it.
I mean,
that just shows...
back then, things moved a lot slower. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the parallels are still the same. Absolutely.
I'm just thinking if it did play out. Like, if something actually happened and it wasn't just all bark,
mm-hmm.
No, right? Like,
yeah.
All right, what I got written down here is confidence without preparation is just arrogance, right? So we were confident, we were not prepared.
We were arrogant.
We were arrogant, exactly. Thomas Jefferson's claim that conquering Canada would be a mere matter of marching represents the kind of hubris that has led to military disasters throughout history. The Americans assumed victory without having a professional army, adequate supplies, or even basic coordination between their three invasion forces.
I guess it also shows the influence Thomas Jefferson had.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Just everyone trusting him like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I was just thinking, like, if this guy is just saying that and everyone went, yeah, let's do it, without even, like, reviewing the militia laws, without even reviewing the morale, and everyone's like, yeah.
When you... more parallels today. When you follow a demagogue, you don't think, you don't prepare. You just do what he says, and or listen to what he says and think it's the gospel, and it's not a good road to go down, no matter who it is.
There's no fact checking; you just blindly follow.
Right, logistics matter more than enthusiasm. The war hawks in Congress could whip up public support for war, but they couldn't magically create the infrastructure needed to wage one. Roads, supply lines, trained soldiers, capable officers. These boring, unglamorous elements of warfare turned out to be far more important than patriotic speeches. Yet another parallel to today. Mm-hmm. We invaded Iran for no reason, and here we are now in this quagmire. We still got $8 gas and no end in sight. It's just... history is repeating itself.
And it's blatantly obvious.
And it is.
We're making connections when I'm making connections, a 16-year-old making connections to history.
That's right.
In matters of seconds.
That's right.
Like, I'm learning this in the moment, and I'm making connections to now.
And these are supposed to be the people that are leading our country.
Yep.
Anyway, the last one I have is sometimes the best outcome of a bad decision is learning from it. The United States learned hard lessons from the War of 1812, lessons that influenced military reforms and foreign policy for generations. And both the United States and Canada learned that they could share a continent in peace, a relationship that has endured for more than 2 centuries. It's time for the Fun Fact Challenge. All right, let's test what you remember from today's story with 3 questions. You know the rules. I'm going to finish the sentence. You lock in. First of 3 wins. Nope. Best of 3 wins. Question 1. Which American general surrendered Fort Detroit without firing a shot, leading to his court-martial?
Locked in. Hall.
How do you spell that?
Hall.
Oh, you're wrong, but I'm going to give it to you.
You didn't tell us the spelling.
Because I did not spell it. It's Hull. Hull.
Hull?
Yeah. No, you're totally right, though.
You did not tell us spelling.
I know.
Spelling it out, it would have been a
That's
little
why
different.
I asked.
See, I feel like with mine, it's just like it's too much notes that I just need to like search around.
Yeah.
Me too, King.
Oh.
Question 2. Which famous British general was killed at the Battle of Queenston Heights while leading a charge up the hill?
Locked in.
Gavin.
That was Gavin.
Isaac Brock.
Correct. Major General Isaac Brock.
He is the very pattern of a modern major general.
A Kentucky sharpshooter.
That's right.
A
Good job.
tidbit there.
A little tidbit of information.
A trivia
Right,
nugget.
bro.
All right, you guys are tied going into the last question. It's been a while since
It's been a while
like
since
this.
this happened.
What was the name of the naval commander who won the Battle of Lake Erie and sent the message, "We have met the enemy and they are ours"?
Locked in.
Oh, you wrote this down?
I don't
think
have
so.
it.
I didn't. I
don't have
I don't
it.
think Zoe wrote it down at
I
all.
don't have it.
Go for it.
I think this might be it. I just had a ton of names. Roger Schaefer.
No.
No, that was someone else. I didn't write down his name.
Uh-huh. It was kind of in passing, but like I said, I wanted to make at least number 3 question for you guys super hard.
Is it Jen?
Scott?
Nope, it was Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry. Commodore Perry.
Okay.
So that means we need to
Extra
do
innings.
extra innings.
Overtime.
Son.
All right. Tie-breaking question. Or should we do it closer to the pin?
I don't know.
What do you mean closest to the pin?
Where I give you a question and you give me a number, and whoever's closest to the actual number wins.
Is it Price is Right rules without going over? Or?
No.
Let's do that instead.
Okay.
Because I was writing down numbers.
So, as you guys know, on October 13th, 1812, Van Rensselaer launched an assault across the Niagara River, right? Mm-hmm. Under
Yeah.
cover of darkness, about how many American troops crossed in boats and scrambled up the heights overlooking the town?
Locked in.
Locked in.
Gavin, you go first.
0.
And Zoe.
900.
Well, Zoe's closer.
I didn't write that down.
Because
It
I
was
was like, is this a trick question?
600.
I was like, is this a trick question? Because technically no one... Anyway, I was right.
So, no, people did go across, just not the militiamen. He still had the continent. No, I guess it wasn't Continental Army then,
Not
but
yet.
the American Army.
Because I wrote down 900 U.S. POWs from Niagara. That's where I got that number.
Yep. Including young officer Winfield Scott.
That's where I got Scott from.
This day in history. Some other things that happened on today, May 28th, across history are, in 1533, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer, declared the marriage of King Henry VIII to Anne Boleyn valid, formally setting off the English Reformation and breaking with Rome.
I know
Of
all about
England?
that now.
Yeah? What's that?
We learned about that, just learned about that in history. He made the Church of England.
That's right. Yep.
broke
When
off.
they broke away from Rome, he created the Church of England, which exists today.
It's just a Protestant church, right?
It is Protestant, yeah.
Because I know it. That was one of the main
Protestant
things of the
Reformation?
Protestant Reformation.
Yep.
That's what that was one of the
We
things
learned
that kicked it
all
off.
about that in history class.
That's what I just all learned about.
They did keep some things from,
It's not.
Catholicism.
Well, it's Anglicanism. It's not. It's
Yeah.
a specific type of
Right.
religion. It's not one or the other.
On this day in 1830, the U.S. Congress passed the Indian Removal Act, authorizing the forced relocation of Native American nations from their ancestral lands east of the Mississippi. Does anybody know what that's called?
I do. is called the Trail of Tears.
And who forced the Trail of Tears?
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson.
That's why he's a little shaky for me.
There are some other reasons, yes.
That's one of the reasons for me, at least.
Yeah, for sure. It's probably one of the biggest. There are others, but...
Oh, yeah.
And then finally, we are going to San Francisco in, 2 weeks? Just about? Maybe 3?
Yep.
In 1937, on this date, the Golden Gate Bridge opened to vehicular traffic after 4 years of construction.
Wow.
I'm going to drive over that.
No, you are not.
We switch at that point.
We are not driving. We'll be on a bus going across it to the other side, but it's not on our way there. Yeah, no, it's because we're coming from the south. The Golden Gate Bridge is like northwest part of San Francisco.
How much miles is the Golden Gate Bridge? Like, how long is it?
I don't know. That's a great question. If only there were a way.
I just got my brain count.
So I want to say 4 miles. That's what came off at the top of my head, but I could totally be wrong. Totally wrong. 1.7.
Oh, that's not that bad.
No, you can
I
walk
could run
across
that.
it.
I could run
How
that
long's
in
the Brooklyn Bridge? Because I've walked that.
Yeah.
Could run that in I don't know, 15 minutes, I feel.
1.1.
So it's about the same.
About a half a mile shorter.
That was a trek. Because it was cold. It's on the water.
In summation, America expected an easy march into Canada in 1812. Instead, 3 invasions collapsed. Detroit surrendered, militia refused to cross the Niagara, and the Montreal push fizzled out completely. The lesson is simple. Confidence and patriotism don't replace preparation, logistics, or capable leadership. The war dragged on for years and ended largely unchanged. That's it for this episode. Thanks for traveling through time with us on the Ebbs of History. If you like today's story, share it with a teacher, a friend, or your family on Instagram at Ebbs of History. If you have any show ideas, corrections, or questions, you can contact us at questions@ebbsofhistory.com.
Signing off, this has been your co-host, Gavin.
Zoe.
And me, Jason, reminding you that history is not just about the dates and battles. It's about the people, curiosity, and the weird, wonderful choices that shaped our world. Until next time,
Keep wondering.
Keep laughing.
and keep learning through
The Ebbs of History.